Hey, what's guys? It's Vic. Nah, that's not it.
Strike one.
Hey, what's up, guys from Cyborg for Life? What? It's been a while. I'm getting rusty.
Strike two.
Hey, what's up, guys? Victor from Cyborg for Life, and I'm going to welcome you back to another video. Yes, got it.
Play ball.
And today we're going to talk about 10 misconceptions or myths about limb lengthening that can help you set realistic expectations before you go through with the procedure. And to start us off is myth number one, that every patient will achieve their lengthening goals just because it's within safe lengthening limits of the max recommended amount for that particular bone length. And unfortunately, we have to dispel this myth because neither you or your surgeon can determine how much length you'll truly be able to gain. It's up to your body. Your body has the final say, and that's because it's highly dependent on the flexibility of your soft tissues, like your muscles, the healing of your bones, and your overall function. Now, the really good thing is that most patients who set out to achieve max length often settle for less than their original goals when they realize the perspective shift from their new height gain. They'll focus more on reality and less on numerical gain. Myth number two is seeing other good patient outcomes means you're gonna have the same good outcome. I think that it's really important to discuss this myth because it can be a little bit misleading, especially for those who are just learning about the procedure. Because let's say that you see a video of a patient who does 10 centimeters lengthening over the nail and the femurs and is shown at a later date running. That does not mean that you're going to achieve that same outcome. And this applies to every patient, regardless of the surgeon you choose, because there are a lot of factors that just depend on patient compliance. Now, that being said, picking a good surgeon with a solid track record of success is like having an excellent three-point shooter in basketball or an awesome home run hitter in baseball, because they're going to have a better chance at getting you a great outcome with less at-bats, if you will, okay? And that's just due to their experience level and their ability to troubleshoot along the lengthening journey. But just like in sports, you have to pay these sluggers or surgeons really, really well, but you're gonna have a much better chance of getting what you pay for. Myth number three is fixing your leg length discrepancy or getting taller is gonna solve all your problems. Now, I needed to bring this one up because a lot of patients think that their problems are gonna magically vanish after limb lengthening, and they could, but it's a little unlikely because it takes time and it's a little bit more indirect. For example, let's say that you have one leg shorter than the other one, as in the case of a leg length discrepancy, and you have pain in your joints, your back, your neck. You can expect that the pain probably won't get much worse than it is, but it does take time for the body to adapt to these new proper load distributions. I know in my case, I felt much better in some areas where I was compensating, while other areas had to build up the strength, the endurance, in order to handle these new stress risers. And the same could be said for cosmetic stature lengthening patients who might think that getting taller will garner them more social respect or automatically guarantee that they're going to be able to get more dates or land more job promotions or what have you. The reality is that, and I truly believe this after talking to a lot of stature lengthening patients, is that you will have to first accept the new changes to be positive yourself. Then you're gonna get this boost of indescribable internal confidence that's gonna exude this, attractive, charismatic vibe around you. And you're gonna hold yourself with more confidence. You're gonna move differently, and others are gonna notice, especially all the lovely ladies that are gonna be falling for you. Myth number four is stretching yourself means you don't need physical therapy sessions and vice versa. Now, unless you are lengthening a very conservative amount where you'll lose little to no range of motion or function, then you're gonna need to incorporate professional physical therapy sessions in addition to stretching homework, okay? Now, each patient's needs are gonna vary, but having professional physical therapy sessions throughout the week can help highlight flexibility issues that can be warning signs for possible muscle contracture. And following that session up with at-home therapy can help keep these problems at bay so that you can get through lengthening safely. Myth number five is that your surgeon's gonna tell you everything you need to know about recovery. Now, I know that these surgeons often get super hyped up, being some omnipotent, high and mighty being, and although they are the ones that you depend on to have a successful surgery and keep complications to a minimum, that's about all they're good for. So it really makes me wonder why patients who are trying to optimize recovery and expedite the healing process expect their surgeons to know everything about physical rehab, rebuilding, nutrition, supplementation, and everything else that goes in between, okay? Like, I'm honestly baffled, okay? Sure, they might know the basics like vitamin D3 or calcium, eating healthy food, But what does that mean in the overall scheme of things? Most surgeons don't have the time to delve into the literature to determine the most important aspects like ranges of caloric surpluses, ideal macro ratios, efficacious doses of prominent micronutrients. You have to understand that the patient perspective is a highly important piece of the puzzle and often undervalued piece of the puzzle for a successful limb lengthening outcome, okay? After all, most of these surgeons don't have any firsthand experience getting a surgery done by themselves, let alone limb lengthening, okay? And so they can only extrapolate from their own patients' anecdotes. And the same thing goes for their caseload and experience. Many times a surgeon will work their way into a popular situation and be seen as more than they really are. And many times prospective or new patients can be fooled by this illusion. So just be wary, my friends. Okay, so myth number 6 is the price of the surgery is all you need to have saved up. Now, if you've been a subscriber of my channel for any length of time now, you probably know that it's not wise to only account for the cost of the surgery and nothing else. Planning for things like complications, housing, food, rehab devices, a caretaker, entertainment, the list goes on. But you need to account for all of this in your final surgery fund. There's nothing worse than going through one of the most expensive surgical procedures without being financially prepared and being left to fend something like, I don't know, a premature consolidation, or if you have a mishap, you trip and fall and you injure yourself, or the lengthening device. And health insurance is also a really good idea, especially if you're going through for a discrepancy or deformity correction. But even then, make sure you have your piggy bank ready. Myth number 7 is the average time frame for achieving normal activities is how it's going to play out. Sure, in a perfect world, if you lengthen your femurs by 5 centimeters and you rehab properly, then you should be walking within 4 to 5 months, normally by 6, hoping to get your device removed at the 1-year mark and achieving your pre-op, performance levels at the 2-year mark. But this misconception couldn't be any further from the truth, because I can't tell you how many patients that have lengthened like the scenario that I just mentioned, yet couldn't walk at all, up until 6 months, weren't walking normally to the 1-year mark, couldn't get their device removed to the 1.5-year mark, and they weren't getting back to their pre-op, pre-surgery levels of activity until nearly 3 years after, okay? So it just goes to show that, the time frame is highly variable, and to do your best and to hope that you recover fast as or faster than average. And a really good way to remember this is one of my favorite sayings, and that is to expect the worst but hope for the best. All right, myth number 8 is lengthening of the legs means that your proportions will be skewed and just look weird. Listen, some patients can lengthen their femurs by 8 centimeters and their tibias by 5 centimeters, or quadrilaterally do both segments and look completely fine without their arms looking short or anyone besides themselves ever noticing. Whereas some patients could do 4 centimeters, which is rather conservative, on their tibias, and they can get multiple second takes, okay? It really does depend on your starting proportion ratios, your body structure, the clothes you wear, the muscle mass that you have on your body, and overall who you're around, okay? Because let's say that you're on stage as a world-class bodybuilder, under these bright lights, under the scrutiny of keen-eyed judges who might pick up on it a bit. But even then, ratios and proportions vary so much person to person. So you really just have to, pick a lengthening goal, go through with it wholeheartedly, and just pray that your proportions are going to look good. Otherwise, you're going to regret it, and regret is far worse on the other end. But proportions do matter. I know that this is a cosmetic procedure for a lot of people, but don't let it stress you out too much. Just maybe pick a little bit more of a conservative goal, and you'll be a little bit happier. Let's say that you have a big leg length discrepancy, and you notice that after lengthening that your knee heights aren't even. That could be more of a functional issue, which could cause a bit of pain, but yeah, I digress. Myth number 9 is having a low chance of developing a complication means that it's not going to happen. Now, a great surgeon once said, even though the likelihood of a complication is generally statistically low, for the person who develops that complication, the chance just jumped to 100% because it happened, right? So this means that you have to be aware, even though you probably won't, ever develop a pulmonary embolism, premature consolidation, or a bone infection, or any of these other things, they can in fact happen. And it's just a risk that you have to accept when you elect to go through with this surgery. You know what I mean, eh? Myth number 10 is if you still have some pain that's lingering after full bone consolidation, it's gonna be permanent. Listen, I've talked to quite a bit of patients that have some residual pain or stiffness long after the bones were healed. But you have to understand that bone healing is just about a third of the recovery aspect. The other portion is soft tissue conditioning, strengthening, endurance, and so on. those issues are most likely going to resolve over time with enough physical therapy rehab. Even getting your lengthening devices removed will help reduce the pain quite a bit and make things feel more organic, if you will. Although at heart, you're always going to be a cyborg for life. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you feel like I missed a myth that needs to be dispelled, let me know by commenting down below or just drop by to say hi. It's been a while. I miss you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. And until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life, signing out. Peace.
Strike 3, you're out.
I literally just said that, like just now.